And today, throughout the world, including the Western world, you have a system that in order to hoard more wealth and to gain more wealth, you use your wealth to eat other people's wealth. In English, it's called as bribing. The Quran says in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 188, that squander not your wealth on vanities, and do not use your wealth in order to use it as baits to judges, so that you may eat other people's wealth. That means, do not use your wealth as a bribe, as bait to judges, so that you may eat other people's wealth. Bribing is prohibited in Islam. And the Quran says in Surah Hujurat, chapter 49, verse number 11 and 12, that let not one group of men laugh at the others. You may never know, the latter may be better than the former. Let not one group of women laugh at the other. You may never know, the latter may be better than the former. Do not call each other by nicknames. Don't be sarcastic to one another. Avoid suspicion, for suspicion in some cases is a sin. Do not spy on one another. Do not backbite. Do not call each other by nicknames, and do not slander behind their backs. Do not backbite. Are you ready to eat the dead meat of your brother? The Quran says that if you backbite, if you speak against somebody's back, it's as though you're eating the dead meat of your brother. And eating dead meat is prohibited in the Quran. Speaking bad about someone without proof, slandering him without proof, is prohibited in Islam. Slandering someone behind his back when he doesn't have an opportunity to clarify is double sin. Eating dead meat is a sin. Eating dead meat of your brother. The cannibals who eat meat, even they don't eat the meat of their own brother. So backbiting is as good as eating the dead meat of your brother. And Quran says, nay, you would abhor it. This backbiting and slandering in the garb of freedom of expression, hidden behind the term freedom of expression, you find it very prevalent throughout the Western world. People abusing each other, slandering each other, inverted commas, freedom of expression. The Quran says in Surah Humazah, chapter 104, verse number 1, وَيْلُلْ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Woe to every kind of scandal monger and backbiter. The problem today, which the West is facing, and it has also seen to it that the other parts are facing because of it, is riba, is interest. Today, the Western world is in problems because of riba, because of interest. And they've seen to it that they've passed this disease even to the other parts of the world. It started in England by the King of England. He said that you give money, I will keep it with you, and then I will give you interest, fixed interest on it. And that's how the present interest-based banking system started. And they have spread this fever, this disease throughout the world. The Quran mentions about riba. The word riba is given in the Quran in no less than 8 different times. It's mentioned in Surah Al-Imran, chapter number 3, verse number 130. In Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 161. It's mentioned in Surah Rum, chapter number 30, verse 39. Thrice in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 275. It's also mentioned in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 276, and in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 278. The word riba is mentioned in the glorious Quran no less than 8 times. And why it is haram, etc., I've given the talk on interest-free economy promulgated by the Quran. For people who want to know the reason why Islam has prohibited riba, and riba includes interest over and above, people say that, oh no, riba doesn't include interest, modern interest, it only means usury. And I've described this in detail. People can avail of my video cassette, interest-free economy promulgated by the Quran, which gives more detail. Time doesn't permit us to go into the minute details of economics in this talk. But just like to give the translation of 2 verses of the Quran. That is Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 278 and 279, which says that, oh, you believe, give up your demands of riba, of interest, and if you give not your demands of riba, interest, take notice of a war from Allah and His Rasul. I mean, anyone who deals with interest, Allah and His Rasul will wage a war against you. There are various sins mentioned in the glorious Quran, which are big sins, Gunaya Kabira. But this particular sin, besides being a grave sin, it also says that anyone who deals with interest, Allah and His Rasul will wage a war against you. So if you deal in interest, you are challenging Allah and His Rasul for a war. Furthermore, if you see in the Western world, we have people, especially the children, they don't respect the parents. It's more in the Western world as compared to the Eastern world. And nowadays, in the new era, you have special child abuse cells. For the Western world, in America and in other European countries, you can phone the police, the special child abuse cell, and you can even threaten your parents. If your parents scold you too much, you better be careful. Otherwise, I'll dial that number. And the parents understand, okay, now he means business. You're giving rights to everyone. Rights are there in Islam. They've even given rights to children. The maximum is in Islam. But the Quran says, La taglu fi dinakum, in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse 171. Do not commit excesses in your religion. But natural children should be protected. But now, in the garb of protection, the children, they are threatening, they are blackmailing their parents. If they want something, and if the parents don't give, they can blackmail. You can even give fake calls, no problem. The police will come, may harass the parent, may not arrest them, but there can be problems. Several places in the Quran says that you should respect your parents. Several places. In Surah Luqman, chapter number 31, verse number 14. In Surah Ahqaf, chapter number 46, verse number 15. In Surah Anam, chapter 6, verse 151. Several places. But specifically, it says in Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 23 and 24, it says that after worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the next duty is respecting your parents. The Quran says in Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse 23 and 24, that Allah has ordained for you that you worship none but me, and that you be kind to your parents. And if any one of them, or both of them, reach old age, do not even say a word of contempt. Don't even say uff to them. You can't even say uff to them. But lower to them your wing of humility and address them with honor, and pray to their Lord that cherish them as they cherished me in childhood. Imagine, the Quran says, if any one or both of your parents reach old age, you cannot even say uff to them. In the Western world, you have the concept of old age home, where the parent gets old, put them into the old age home. There's no concept of old age home in Islam. Because the duty of the children and the relatives to look after the elderly people. They have to respect them. They have to love them. They have to behave with them with compassion. Unlike the Western world, which moment a child gets adult, the parents may have looked after the child, but moment he feels he can stand on his own 2 feet, then he shows his back to the parents. The common problem which is there in the Western world is adultery. It is fornication. And the glorious Quran says, in Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 32, that come not close to adultery, for it is an evil opening roads to other evils. Adultery is an evil opening roads to other evils. That is the reason in Islam, marriage is compulsory. There is no monasticism in Islam. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, in the book of Nikah, chapter number 3, hadith number 4, that, O young people, whoever has the means to get married should get married. And our beloved Prophet said that anyone who marries completes half his deen. Once during question and answer time, somebody asked me, that does it mean that if I marry twice, I complete my full deen?